Also, should probably not mute my mic. Thank you to sports. Appreciate that. Yeah, I didn't know what to put. Welcome in guys. I didn't know what to put for, a title. Um Pretty hyped though that from what it looks like, we can go to SoFi and not worry about anything. Full capacity, if you guys didn't see. So that's going to be awesome. But welcome in. Appreciate you. You should be able to hear me. Let's see. You guys can't hear me? What's up, Henry? Let's see. Okay, I'm good now. All right, cool. There's a bit of a delay. Damn. That's so annoying. I hate delays. All right, well, anyway, happy you guys can make it. Pretty excited to talk to you guys, as always. If you guys missed it earlier, it was about 7:30 to 8. I did a members-only live stream, so if you guys are interested in that, you can become a member. The link is in the description. It's $4.99 a month, $3.99 a month. I don't even know how much my own membership costs. But yeah, if you guys are interested in that, had some fun doing that. So we'll be doing that every week, at least once, once a week, 30 minutes. But yeah. Hey, thanks, Renee. Appreciate you. I also have my Twitch channel up right now in case anybody comments, because for whatever reason, I cannot for the life of me figure out how to get it on Twitch. No, you're good, Aiden. Appreciate you. No, appreciate you. That's why we do the, we do them all. But how's everyone doing? Anything you guys want to talk about? Yeah, I definitely like the comments being on the screen. I feel like it adds more to the show. And, we like to engage with the audience, as you guys know. You guys know me. So the audience matters. I'm thinking, just looking at everything going on, with the off season and what have you. I'm thinking there's some teams that are definitely emerging, but what's up, Ashton? Long time no talk. He was just in the members only stream. Yeah, so what are we talking about, guys? Way too much respect on AD's name, huh? Let's see here. We got someone on Twitch. Appreciate you, the lone wolf over there. I'm trying to travel to SoFi. Yeah. What's up, Gilbert? Sanaka, how you doing? Great question, Henry. I mean, what can Sean McVay improve on? I think, looking at what he's done at such a young age, it's impressive, but you can definitely say, you could argue he can improve on, a bit more. First off, I think the play calling is a little suspect at times. He's had issues going back to Washington with the red zone play calling. So, was that Jared Goff? What was that? Now he has Matthew Stafford, who's way more talented than Kirk Cousins and Jared Goff, not really limited in that regard. So I'm expecting that to get better for sure. I don't know if Jared Goff is hating on Detroit. I just, obviously it's a big step down to go from LA to Detroit, but we'll see, Aiden. I don't know. I think Detroit's going to be solid, so I'm not totally out on them. I agree. The play calling should be a lot better with Stafford. Quarter-to-quarter adjustments, agreed with that. That's something I really want to see early on out of Raheem Morris, because that's something I felt like Brandon Staley did a really nice job with. What's up, David? How we doing? Yeah, no, I feel that. I mean, look, you know, Sean McVay, he's still young. But now with Stafford, the excuses will pretty much go out the window for me. Like, if he struggles calling plays with Stafford, I don't know. I hope we don't run on 3rd and 20s anymore. I know we're trying to protect Goff, but it made me so mad. Yeah, same here. Need to know when to run the ball late. I feel with Cam and well, yeah. I mean, I agree with that, Matthew. I feel like McVay offensively will hit his head against a wall. McVay can definitely improve on getting the tight ends to become a bigger part of the offense. Higbee's good, but doesn't get used nearly enough. Agreed with you. I mean, you know, I think they tried so hard to put a premium on trying to use Gerald Everett that, you know, I think they might have held Higbee back in a sense. They held some of their other receivers back. Are you glad that those repetitions went to Gerald Everett, live bullets over Van Jefferson? Like, I'm not. Casey's old CTR? What do you mean? I'm looking forward to gutting it on 3rd and 13 instead of the stupid screens for Goff. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. Are there any players left in free agency you would like to have? I don't know. I mean, if they're cool with the offensive line, so am I. Oh, center. Got you. I was actually going to bring him up. If they're cool with their offensive line, then so am I. I really like Corbett. I think that they actually have plenty of depth at guard and tackle. They just have a lot of guys that can play multiple positions. If they wanted to go out and get anybody, Morgan Moses is available, although he's had some issues with injuries. But Austin Reeder would be the guy. But I think that they're fine, to be honest with you. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. Let's see here. Yeah, the Chiefs center. He didn't give up a sack last year, so that's somebody I'm looking at. If they will go that route, I don't think they do, but if they were to go that route, that's where I could see them going. Let's see here. I'm trying to get this. For whatever reason, not everything publishes when I want it to publish. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about I definitely don't know about Aaron Cromer leaving. That's kind of something, we'll find out. That's hilarious. So I shared the stream and it now has my name up on there. Yeah, so, I think that's something we'll find out as time goes on, whether Kevin Carberry's the guy or not. I mean, I don't think there's any way for us to know until, there are live bullets. I do think that, Aaron Cromer did such a nice job with those guys, and they've been blocked because you have Havenstein, you have Whitworth. And so because they've had those veteran guys, they've been blocked and unable to kind of take over left tackle and right tackle. It's a good problem to have. But ultimately what it did is kind of make it so people forgot, oh, Noteboom they have. Oh, they have Evans. Oh, they have Ankrum. Oh, they have Edwards. And Demby, who they for whatever reason like, and Chandler Brewer, who McVay really likes. So that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think Aaron Kromer leaving will be an immediate problem because he's already coached those guys quite a bit. David, you bought Resident Evil 8? Wow. Yeah, we played that last night. For the first 40 minutes, I couldn't find the lockpick, and then I realized 41 minutes in, I didn't need a lockpick. So that was fun. Let's see here. Everett was a wasted pick. He's good, no doubt, but so is Higbee. So Everett wasn't needed. Then McVay tried to justify the pick by force feeding him while he was there. Yeah, I don't think you're wrong there. I think they fixed it, but if you search Jalen Ramsey's father in Google, Darnell Mooney pops up. The guy has one play on Jalen Ramsey, and Bears fans made this clip. I don't know. They made some like video that went viral. I have no idea. What's up, D? How you doing? Yeah, I don't get Demby either. He got a 3. He got a 3 PFF grade. Damn, dude. No, I agree with that. I mean, don't get me wrong, losing Kromer was big, but they didn't add anybody new. So the guys that they have at the moment are guys that Kromer has already coached. He's already cross-trained. Like, the coaching could be continued, but the main basis of coaching is already done. They already have whatever this, organization, however they want their guys coached, that's how they were coached. So, I think Carberry is just going to maintain that. Yeah, hopefully. No, I agree with you there, Ashton. Hey, Payo Time, how we doing? Yeah, I like seeing Stafford in a Rams helmet for sure. I don't know why Justin Lawler's still with the team. I don't think he will be anywhere as productive as Connor Barwin or Matt Longacre in 2017. Lawler's probably not going to be on the team much longer. I don't think he makes the team, to be honest with you. He's a guy that kind of lucked out in a weird way of putting that because of injuries. First off, injuries propelled him into the starting lineup, and then injuries to him kept him from getting cut. So maybe he didn't luck out, maybe he did. I don't know. It's one of those weird, like, would he have gotten cut had he not gotten hurt? I don't know. But something to keep in mind. Well, yeah, I mean, I think if they went out and they got Terrace Marshall instead of Tutu Atwell, they would have had that big-bodied receiver that you're talking about, Matthew, but, they didn't, so I don't know if they necessarily want that. I don't know. What's up, JB? How you doing? Chantry, how you doing? What's up? What? Okay. The NFL season starts in September, if you're talking about the regular season. Let's see. What is going on here? Okay, there we go. All I was trying to do was get the link so I could post it. How many points do you think the Rams will score this year? Like a range of what you think? I think I actually projected their point total. Let me see if I can find that. Okay, their projected point total I had was, let's see here, 576. 51 passing touchdowns, 19 rushing touchdowns, 24 field goals. That's on the offense. I haven't projected full like defensive touchdowns, so I think there'll be a few. But with field goals and offensive touchdowns, you're looking at 576 points. Jake Funk or Xavier Jones, I'm going with X. X-Man is legit. I'm good, JB. Thanks for asking. Yeah, September needs to come. Yeah, this channel is going to be lit in September. I mean, think about this. I had not even 1,000 subs when I got my first viral video. I don't know if it's fair to call it viral. I mean, it had 27,000 views, but I wouldn't call it viral, the Wolford video. But it took off, and I didn't have a ton of subscribers. So now I have somewhat of a following here, almost at 5,000 subs, thanks to you guys, you amazing people. The live streams are going to be really dope. I mean, if it's anything like the Stafford stream, I mean, I'm going to be doing, you guys are going to want to keep it here because pregame and postgame, I'm going to be doing Rams content. I'm going to do Rams live streams. So, you know, it might look a little weird if I do it from a game like the Giants game, but I'm definitely going to commit to doing it. So let's see. What do we have here? Thanks, David. Appreciate that. Thanks, AZZA. I am. I hope you're having an amazing day as well. Thoughts on Aaron Rodgers, Chantry? It's tough because it's like, you know, I think at times he looks like the bad guy, but we just don't know what's happening behind closed doors. I think he wants to win. He's tired of losing. You know, this team goes out and they draft a cornerback in the first round. So I think he's just frustrated with them, man. And you know what? I can't blame him. The way these players are held to the standard of rings, I don't blame him. I mean, I don't. So I hope Rodgers gets his stuff sorted out. I don't think he'll play for Green Bay. If he is in Denver, there's a chance I'll see Ben Roethlisberger versus Aaron Rodgers. That would be the second time I've seen Rodgers. The first time was against the Rams in 2018. We know what happened there. So it'd be cool, definitely, to see that. By the way, for the record, if Aaron Rodgers goes to the Broncos are my favorite in the AFC. Even with the Chiefs, I still think the Broncos are the favorite because you would have like a near perfect quarterback. And really, you have all those weapons for Rodgers. You have a running game. You have an offensive line that's revamped with Mike Munchak as the offensive line coach. And then the defense with Fangio. Yeah. My pick would be the Broncos to win the AFC. And I have the Chargers representing the AFC in the Super Bowl. I might have to switch that to the Broncos if they got Rodgers. Yeah, no, I agree with you, Henry. You know, it's almost like kind of like with that. I mean, here's what I'll say, okay? We kind of knew it wasn't the greatest show on turf, but we kind of knew that the Rams were special in 2018. Hey, thanks, Sean. Appreciate you. You wake up tomorrow and see Julio Jones is traded to the Rams for Robert Woods in a second. How do you feel? I wouldn't like that trade, and I know that might be a little weird for people, but first off, the cap space, I don't even know how you work that. Second, I wouldn't want to trade away Robert Woods because, I mean, one, he's one of my favorite players. Two, I think he does everything extremely well. He's been a model of consistency. And, in a second, it's like, so they're not picking until the third round next year. Yeah, I'll pass. I think Julio Jones is an incredible player. He might be the best receiver in football. But when you have Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Van Jefferson, Deshaun Jackson, Tutu Atwell, Ben Skorenek, and, Tyler Higbee, Jacob Harris, Bryson Hopkins, a running game with Darrell Henderson and Cam Akers, I just don't see the point of making a move like that. The argument that I would make is, if a guy, and I said this yesterday on the stream, if a guy like Khalil Mack became available, that would be a guy I'd give up assets to obtain, because I feel like Khalil Mack would maximize Aaron Donald to a level that we have never seen before. That's what I'll say about that. Appreciate the donation though, Sean. Much appreciated there. Yeah, I mean, why would Morris change really anything with the defense? Honestly, it's really interesting when you look at what Sean McVay brought in. He brought in an offensive line coach that didn't really change anything to the offensive line at all. They went out and got Alaric Jackson, who they had a 4th-round grade on. They like him. I can tell you that. But then, you look at the defense, and it's like, what did Raheem Morris do? They didn't go out and get anybody to replace anybody. So, I think that's something to be said. I think Sean McVay wanted coaches, not easy to control, but I just don't know. I think he felt like they were close last year, and Goff was really the one that held them back in the end. And so, theoretically, if you feel like you're that close, you like your roster, in the draft, you tend to either draft a guy to put you over the edge, but if you're that close, then you already feel good. And here's why I don't think the Rams will trade for Julio Jones, because the Rams got Tutu Atwell in the 2nd round. They could have drafted anybody else. They could have drafted Terrace Marshall, who's a 1st-round pick. They could have drafted 1st-round talent. They could have drafted, a pass rusher. They could have gone out and gotten somebody like that. The fact that they drafted, and throughout their entire draft, was long-term potential, guys with high ceilings, low floors, that tells me where the Rams are at mentally, is that they feel like Stafford was that Julio Jones that people are trying to make it out to be. So, in my opinion, when the Rams traded for Matthew Stafford, that was like the equivalent of them getting Julio Jones in a sense, because they felt like Stafford was the guy to put them over the edge. And they already went out and they got a Jalen Ramsey to complement with Aaron Donald. So really, like, that's my only argument, is that if Khalil Mack was available, I might have to kick tires on that. What would you give up to get Mack, i.e. Ramsey? Oh, thank you so much, AZ. I appreciate you donating. Great question. I think you'd be looking at probably a 1st in 20. Well, you could probably give him a 1st way back, then or whatever, or you could give him a 2nd and one of your receivers. The Bears would probably want a receiver if they were doing that trade, and if that were to happen, that would have to mean that Khalil Mack, in my opinion, wanted out. And I think at some point, I said it yesterday on the stream, Deshaun Watson opened up everyone's eyes. He showed you that no matter what, you can get out of your situation. You saw Tom Brady isn't even sticking with the Patriots. He goes to another team and wins the Super Bowl, and they were winning Super Bowls in New England. It kind of shows everybody, mobility is key. If I'm based on rings and I have no chance of getting a ring, I'm not going to stay here. So if Khalil Mack came out tomorrow and said, nope, I'm done, I guarantee you the Rams already tried to get him once. The Rams would be the front runner to go and get Khalil Mack, because I can tell you right now, they don't feel great about Terrell Lewis. They don't feel good about his future. I think there's genuine concern about Terrell Lewis. I've said that for a while. That knee, there's genuine concern about Terrell Lewis's long-term health. Then you have Justin Hollins, who to me, good player, can start, doesn't have the highest upside. I think what you see is what you get. And then you have Obo Okoronkwo, who he stayed healthy a little bit, but like he's more of a rotational guy who has some promise, but is he a starter? And so that's the thing. You go out and you get Khalil Mack and you pair him again with Leonard Floyd, and you have Aaron Donald and A'Shawn Robinson and Sebastian Joseph Day and then Bobby Brown long term. You have to feel good about where you're at that point, like really good. You have to feel better than you've ever felt in that defense. That is how a guy, I have my sources. I'll just say that. But I think you have to feel good about that. If they go out and they get a Khalil Mack, because I feel like that does, if they aren't already put over the edge, they're by far the favorites, I think. I know the Chiefs did a ton. The Chiefs still, their defense is not like a top-notch defense. So we already know their offense is going to be crazy. But if the Rams can match that offensive output, and then they have a defense that, finishes top 3, hate to break it to you, I don't care how good your offense is, Kansas City. If Daniel Sorensen is still back there playing safety, Matthew Stafford's going to pick him apart in the Super Bowl. Yeah, I'm just saying, so that's kind of my thought process there. Yeah, Khalil Mack and Aaron Donald on the same team would be a cheat code. You're absolutely right. Are the Rams allergic to big wide receiver? Good question. If Julio was in Houston, they trade him for a bottle of air from Super Bowl 51. I don't want Jones, but I love the drama. Of course, Peo. You're a content creator like me. Drama gets clicks. Clicks get views. Views lead to growth. So, makes a lot of sense. What's up, Kevin? I don't want to start, there's nothing about Khalil Mack. That's just like my I always use that as like my analogy here. I think it's the most comparable thing right now. Maybe Myles Garrett, but Khalil Mack is the most slightly potentially realistic thing to what Julio Jones is. And to me, I would go after Khalil Mack because he would be filling a need, or truly upgrading a position. Whereas I feel like you're kind of being greedy by getting him when you already have the best receiver group in the league. So that's my thoughts on that. Slot corner. Well, I think the nickel is going to be played by Terrell Burgess. I don't think that they're super high on David Long. This is his last year, I think, to get together. Robert Rochelle is definitely going to be a guy that is insurance in case they lose out on Darius Williams. But I'm sure he's going to play a little slot corner as well. So can't fit Khalil Mack's contract in the salary cap without making some serious cuts. So who'd go? Woods and Cup, Floyd, Ramsey, Stafford, draft a new quarterback, rebuild for 3 years, 80 would be old. No, Renee, I'm just saying, they would be able to make it work somehow, I'm sure. I'm just saying in the scheme of it, the concept of it, I'm not making a blockbuster move for a wide receiver. I'm making a blockbuster move if it gets me a pass rusher to help maximize Aaron Donald, because you're not going to be able to double team Aaron Donald or double team Khalil Mack because you have them both to worry about. And if you do one or the other one's going to eat. Plus you have guys like Leonard Floyd that only got better last year. You have A'Shawn Robinson, who didn't really get a chance to play last year until the end because of that condition that he had. And I'll tell you right now, if A'Shawn Robinson goes back to 2018, A'Shawn Robinson with Detroit, he's going to be a monster. So, we'll see. And plus, they have a good feeling and some high hopes about Ernest Brown. So, that's somebody that they really like. I mean, he's body-wise similar to John Franklin Myers, and Franklin Myers had a role, and then he got cut, so I don't know. What's up, Rodx? P-Train, how we doing? He's not on the training block. No, it's just my comparison because, people are asking, like, would you trade for Khalil Mack? And Julio Jones. I'm saying, no, I'd trade for Khalil Mack. So I'd trade for an elite edge defender, but I wouldn't trade for an elite wide receiver because the receiver room's already great. And the edge is basically Leonard Floyd and a bunch of guys that maybe they have potential to become starters, but aren't true starters, impact starters. Paris Ford, I don't know if he makes the roster. The kid out of Merrimack, I'm telling you guys, Jovan Grant, keep his name in mind. I like him a lot. Paris Ford is the more well-known guy, came from Pitt. People know him, played, of course, on TV. A guy from Merrimack didn't, but I can tell you, Jovan Grant is a name that you need to remember. Will you project rookies and Paris Ford? I kind of really like. Do you think he could make the team? He might be able to. I just think the thing with Paris Ford is that I think, David, you're talking about Paris Ford when you say slow, very slow. He is a slow player. Not mentally, but he's just not as athletically gifted as other players. He's kind of similar in a sense to Elijah Molden, who, really is lacking in the athletic department, but is a good, sound, mental football player. But the issue, again, is that he is definitely not the athlete that you would want. I mean, his RAS score is horrible. It's not bad. Like, it is horrible. So that's something to keep in mind. But, he might have tested poorly and might play better, play faster. I don't know. The tape shows me, though, to me, on tape, he's a very high motor player that just doesn't quite have it. Honestly, you want to know who Paris Ford is? I think Paris Ford's Craig Dahl. If I'm going to be honest with you, Craig Dahl, when he first got to the St. Louis Rams, that hard-working safety, blue-collar guy, just had a great motor and could hit, but, like, he obviously didn't work out as a starter. What's up, LA Rams? How we doing? No, I agree with you, Brene. It's just the thought process of it. Like, I don't even know if they could pull off either. I don't think that they can pull off Julio, despite what some people think. I'm just saying the thought process is you go out, if you're going to get a star just to get a star, you get one that can help you and upgrade a position that, may not be one of the best. I don't think you upgrade arguably your best position on the roster. That's just my thought. So rookie projections, I could do a series on that, but I already did Tutu Atwell, so it kind of throws it out. I'm probably going to do Ernest Jones, and then that's it, though, because I don't really like Skorenek and Jacob Harris don't feel like day one, like first year type of contributors. So I'm going to hold off on them. I just can't project them to do too much. But regardless of that, Ernest Brown, with what I've been told, I think he could have something. I don't know necessarily. It's going to be hard because I finished my projections. And I'll tell you guys right now, because you guys are in the stream, and I appreciate you guys supporting the channel, as always. You guys are amazing. So I'll go through it without giving away too much. We have A'Shawn Robinson tomorrow. I'm going to be projecting his stats. Then we have Leonard Floyd. We have Ernest Jones, Traven Howard, I actually don't have another outside linebacker because I don't know who's going to start, and I think it's just going to be kind of a rotation there. Um, and then I have Jalen Ramsey, Darius Williams, Jordan Fuller, Terrell Burgess, and Taylor Rapp. And those are my projections. So those are the guys I have left on the docket. I'm expecting a pretty good year out of Terrell Burgess, a big-time season for Jordan Fuller, a solid year for Taylor Rapp, and then Darius Williams and Jalen Ramsey, of course. I think you could get a pretty good year out of Ernest Jones and Traven Howard. I think those are my guys I'm projecting to start personally. So Chris Garrett film breakdown. Man, do you know why Chris Garrett film breakdown hasn't come out yet? It has nothing to do with copyright strikes, because I told you guys I'll continue to do the videos, and you guys, you continue to support me. Like I've already gotten 2 donations on this stream, so again, really appreciate that. I really like Chris Garrett. The problem is Chris Garrett's film is hard to obtain. So because it's hard to obtain, I have to wait until I do obtain it, and it's still, I'm still waiting essentially. So once I have that, I can cut that up, and I'll have you guys I don't even remember what school he went to, but I'll have you guys a Chris Garrett video. If I don't get the material, then I can't make the video, sadly, but we'll try. Yeah, I mean, I know, Ashton, we were talking about that. You really like Harris. You think he could be tight end too. I don't know what the Rams feel or how they feel about Bryson Hopkins. I will say I hope they don't make the mistake of moving on from him too soon, because I think he's a stud. He was my number 1 tight end in the 2020 draft. The Rams knocked out of the park in the 2020 draft. I mean, it was so good. And I thought that way before. Keep this in mind. I was so high in the Rams draft, I didn't even like Jordan Fuller, and I didn't like the Sloman pick. So I was already that high on the draft that it didn't really matter. Sloman was pretty much exactly what I expected. And then Jordan Fuller ended up being a monster, so they got a stud out of him. Stafford, Herbert, and Rodgers, Brady will be in the MVP conversation. Yeah, Paul. I mean, I think, you're looking at those 4. Probably throw Patrick Mahomes in there. I think Brady will take a step back, so I don't know necessarily if he'll be in there, but right now I'm thinking Stafford, I'm thinking Herbert, I'm thinking Rodgers. Depending on how things work out, because here's the thing. I could see Kyler Murray being the top quarterback this year, but if the Cardinals don't win the division, I don't think he wins MVP. Lamar Jackson could be in for a huge year. They go out, they get Rashad Bateman. They go out, they get Sammy Watkins. They go out, they get Tylan Wallace. They upgraded the wide receiver room for Lamar Jackson, so I wouldn't be surprised there. Joe Burrow, but he's not going to win MVP because the Bengals would have to do something significant, in my opinion. MVP isn't just a quarterback. It's not just a quarterback accolade. It's an accolade that you can't obtain if you don't have a good year. It's just like, why did Khalil Mack win the Defensive Player of the Year award over Aaron Donald that one year? Well, Aaron Donald was the better player. We all know that, but Khalil Mack, it went to the 12-4. Khalil Mack led, Raiders player. It didn't go to the 4-12 Aaron Donald. So that was how that was depicted. So, guys that have that opportunity are going to be guys that can play, in the playoffs. And if you can't get to the playoffs, then you're not going to have a chance at the MVP, personally, unless you have just a monster season. So yeah, I would say Mahomes, Stafford, Rodgers, Herbert, Lamar Jackson. Let me think. Josh Allen would definitely be up there. Anybody else? I feel like I'm missing somebody. I mean, if Trey Lance starts day one and just goes off and the 49ers win the division and they get the number 1 seed, he could be up there. He's got a lot of weapons. I don't think he'll win MVP in his rookie year, but I'm just saying. Yeah, I mean, you could get a crazy year at Jameis Winston. Don't sleep on him. Like I've said, I think he's going to be good for the Saints. You could get a good year out of Sam Darnold now with, Carolina. MVP year, probably not. Matt Ryan, probably not. Ryan Tannehill, probably not. So, yeah, it's probably a smaller list, I would say. What's up, Will? How we doing? Who do I think starts for the 49ers, Paul? I think it's going to be Trey Lance. There's no way you can look at him in camp and look at Jimmy G and tell me they're going to start Jimmy G. Maybe they do, but it's a stupid idea. I really like what Skorenek and Harris bring. Big, tall, physical presence, receivers. We've never really had that dimension, but like you said, they're at least a year, maybe 2 years away before ROI. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. Renee, I think people are sleeping on Ben Sko, and I will say this: don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if Ben Skorenek actually has a legit career with the Rams. Maybe even starts on the outside. They like him, like a lot. So keep that in mind. Let's see here. What's up, Mark? How we doing? Why do I get the feeling that Robinson's going to be the drag of the defense? I don't know. I think A'Shawn Robinson's going to have a great year. Could we expect more interceptions this year because we'll be scoring more points, so other teams might have to throw more? Potentially. I didn't really look at it like that, but yeah, I mean, you have an argument there. You like the Jake Funk pick? I had other running backs on my board. Definitely thought, Jamar Jefferson, a guy from, Oregon State, had the best vision in the entire draft and shouldn't have been there in the 7th round. Obviously, you guys know my thoughts on Kylan Hill and Puka Williams. I was not a fan of passing on those 3 guys for Jake Funk. And I know he's a special team guy, but I was not a fan of that, I'll be honest with you. But I like Funk. I mean, I actually said during the draft, I thought he was, he had some upside because he hasn't played in a bit, and then he goes and, he had 2 ACL tears and then he goes to his pro day and just shreds the pro day. So, when you watch the guy play special teams, you can see why they drafted him. I mean, he's a great special teamer. That's not just like, service, like lip service. I watched his film, his special teams film. That dude can hit. Like, he can tackle. He's going to wrap up. He's going to make the big time play. So, I understand that in a sense for sure. Man, I don't know, Bundy, who has won an MVP in their rookie year. I'm sure somebody has. I really think bringing back Munt hinders Hopkins and Harris's development. I don't like they brought him back. I think they brought him back for security there. They just don't have a lot of experience at the tight end position outside of him and Higbee, so I get that. I love that AFC West division. KC, Chargers, LV all could win that division. Broncos a tad off, but if they land Rodgers, they might become the favorites. Yeah. No, I agree with you, Renee. And I think that's a division that's always slept on, but I don't know why. You have Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and then if they get Rodgers, I mean, Denver's going to be at the top, in my opinion. And then, the Las Vegas Raiders as well. I think Derek Carr's a pretty solid quarterback. They're in probably the worst division to be in, for the Raiders. But, well, I don't know. Well, yeah, okay. So NFC West probably, but it's tough for them. But hey, we'll see with them. Aaron Donald should have at least 5 Defense Player of the Year awards. Yeah, I agree. I would love to see Mac on the Rams one day to play with Donald. That'd be fun. Mark my words, Jake, Jamar Jefferson will be better than Jake Funk. Well, I did say I like Jamar Jefferson just earlier. I just saw that comment, so yeah, I agree with you there. Let's see. Aaron Donald is going to be the first player to ever win 4 Defense Player of the Year awards. You're right. Let's see here. What's up, Luke? Boondy, appreciate you, man. Thanks so much for donating. Means a lot. And I try. I try to have the knowledge to dish out. Rams House Substance. How we doing, by the way? The Rams right now at center, Paul, they're going to start Austin Corbett projected. In the back end, you have backups Brian Allen, a former 4th-round pick out of Michigan State, and Coleman Shelton. I believe it was a 7th-round pick they got from the Cardinals. He got waived, and the Rams picked him up. He was on the roster last year. Man, I would never start Jimmy Garoppolo in a million years, but maybe they will. Maybe they're that dumb. What do you think about Russell Wilson trade talks if he goes where? I think he's going to stay AZZA, but if he were to go anywhere, probably the Raiders. I think they're a great fit for him. So I would say, the Raiders. Can you make a top 10 wide receiver right now, or just like a video? Can we have a 7 wide receiver set? I don't think so. I mean, you could theoretically figure out a way to put 7 on the line, but I don't know if it would work. When do you think Color Rush uniforms will be released? Good question. I don't know. Or like $5 billion, but so worth it. Why do you think Nickel Roby-Coleman is still a free agent? Well, he's 5'7". He's getting up there in age. And I don't think he was all that great with Philly. So it hurt his stock a little bit. Probably says a lot that the Rams rescinded their... because they had a team option on him that they did not pick up. So it probably says something. I agree with Rams House. Video look at it for the jersey question. Jake, how do you think Rochelle will do this year? I don't think Rochelle's going to be playing a ton. They love his length, and I think they love his long-term upside, but I don't think he's a guy that's going to come in and play immediately like I did during the draft. You get all the draft vibes going, and you're like, yeah, he's going to come in, and he's going to be amazing, and David Long's gone. I mean, David Long might be gone anyway, but Rochelle is a long-term pick. That was the point of getting Rochelle, because he's a 2-year corner. I believe he played defensive back, or not defensive back, wide receiver, was switched to defensive back. So they love him long-term. Jacob Harris gives you Darren Waller vibes. Ryan, that's an interesting thing there. He just, he looks like Mike Evans to me, like the way he moves and everything, but I guess we'll see. I don't love playing him at tight end. I'm going to be entirely honest with you. I actually don't like it at all, but great question. I'm not sure he might be asking for too much, but he should land a starting role somewhere before the season starts. Yeah, I think Roby-Coleman will find a spot for sure. I don't think he's doomed. What team that didn't make the postseason last year makes it this year? The Chargers. Very easy for me. The Chargers have all the talent in the world. They went out, they protected their quarterback via the draft. They go out and they get a perfect, maybe the best fit in the entire NFL draft, going out and getting Asante Samuel to work in Brandon Staley's scheme. You have Michael Davis there in the secondary. You have Nasir Adderley. You have Derwin James and Chris Harris Jr. So that secondary is absolutely loaded. They got Kenneth Murray, a former first-round pick. Then you look, obviously, you have Joey Bosa. So I really like what they've done there, with their defense for Brandon Staley. You have Justin Herbert throwing 2 guys like Keenan Allen, one of the more underrated receivers in the game. Mike Williams. Go out, you get Josh Palmer from Tennessee. You have Jalen Guyton, who can stretch the field. I don't love their tight ends. I do like Parham. I don't really like Jared Cook, as you guys know. But yeah, you know, and then you have a bevy of running backs. You know, just look, Austin Eckler. You have, you know, I mean, Justin Jackson, and they got the kid from UCLA whose name escapes me, Joshua Kelly. So yeah, I mean, I really do like what the Chargers are doing, especially going out and getting Corey Linsley and Rashawn Slater, bolstering that defense or the offensive line. So I'm excited to see what the Chargers do. But yeah, I mean, they didn't make the playoffs last year. They won 4 straight and then fired their coach. Normally, that's not the case. Normally, that's enough to save his job. That was not. So I think the Chargers do win enough games to make the playoffs. I have them right now in the Super Bowl against the Rams. I don't think they'll win the division. I think that it's going to be the Chiefs. They just have too much. But I think the Chargers can sneak into the Super Bowl by, you know, a different way. Not necessarily winning the division, but, you know, through the wild card. Let's see. Do you think we need a second quarterback better than John? Daniel, I'm going to be honest with you. I might be the biggest John Wolford fan you've ever met. So I'm going to say no. They also like him. There's a chance he's starting after Stafford leaves. So if Stafford's contract is up in 2 years and he retires, say they win a Super Bowl, say they win 2 Super Bowls, probably one. Say they win a Super Bowl, I would not be surprised if Stafford leaves. He's a family man. I would not be surprised. No way it's Lance. If you play Lance, you can see the year he's an inexperienced rook who hasn't seen much. NFL Ds will confuse him. San Francisco's roster is built to win now. Jimmy G gives them their best chance. I got to tell you, Renee, because I've heard this a lot. I mean, I understand with what you're saying about Lance, but I'm just going to be real with you. Lance was doing all of his protections at the line of scrimmage. He was changing the plays himself. He was calling his own plays. He's working under center. This is not a guy, and you guys really need to make sure you don't get caught up in this because it will come back on you. This is not a guy who is an inexperienced project, okay? Because I've seen people say he needs to sit 2 years. The only reason he needs to potentially sit is because his team, because of COVID, didn't get to play in 2020. They played one showcase game. But if you think for a second that, you know, a guy like Trey Lance during the season can't start, I don't know. I mean, he's got so much going for him. He's truly a brilliant quarterback, and he's got all the athleticism in the world and the arm talent. The 49ers got an absolute baller. I mean, I can't stress that enough. How many more prime years does Aaron Rodgers have? I mean, are they prime years? I mean, is he transcending time? If he's transcending times and it's Aaron Rodgers, I mean, he's got at least 3, I would say. What are your thoughts on the Rams losing Troy Hill and John Johnson? I wasn't super happy with it, but, you know, it's what happens. You have good players. Good players require money, and not every team has enough money to. No team has enough money to bring back all their guys unless you're Tampa, who, you know, cut all those deals. So, yeah, it was a bummer, but, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing the other guys step up. I see Jalen Ramsey trying to convince the Rams to trade for Julio Jones. Yeah, he's going to keep doing that. Aiden, you're funny. Well, thank you for coming back, Aiden. I appreciate you. Yeah, Paul, let's go Lakers. Man, Suns fans, and I'm sorry if any of you are Suns fans. I literally interviewed Mikal Bridges, so part of me wants to root for him because he's my guy and he's a Rams fan. But I mean, I'm gonna root for the Lakers because they're my team. But Suns fans, I don't know if you saw, but there was this party going on. They were going absolute ballistic after winning game 1. If the Lakers come back and win this series, they are going to look foolish, and that is going to be the meme of the century. Let's see here. Historically speaking, what has happened after players have their 3rd defensive player of the year? What was LT's career after he won his? We agree. JJ is well past his prime. Since then, AD is a bit older now. Let's see here. I'm going to look that up for you. So, Lawrence Taylor, you're wondering after his 3rd Defensive Player of the Year award? Okay. So, he won... Okay, so he won Rookie of the Year and Player of the Year the same year, and then he won Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year in 82. Oh, he only won 2. No, he won 3. 86, okay. So 86 was his monstrous 20.5 sack season. 81 and 82, he won the Defensive Player of the Year. So after his 3rd year, after getting 20.5 sacks, he had 12, 15.5, 15, 10.5, 7, 5, and 6. And it's weird because AD also got 20.5. Yeah, I mean, he did kind of fall off in a sense. I mean, I don't know, having 12, 15.5, 15. It's hard to compare because you're looking at a pass rusher that was simply rushing off the edge, as an outside linebacker in a 3-4. And then you have Aaron Donald, who's an interior defensive lineman in a 3-4. So it's just a different animal. But that's an interesting thought, though. I really want the Raiders to be good. I mean, their draft philosophy is the fastest man wins. And speaking of free agents, why do you think Gurley is still out there? I just think teams want to see more complete back, and so he'll probably sign late in the process. But I've said it, yesterday's stream. Todd Gurley is somebody you can go out and get, and he's going to be automatic at the goal line. He's going to be automatic in 3rd and goal situations. He can still run the football. He was 3rd in rushing in the middle of the season, and then Dirk Cutter benched him. The thing with Todd Gurley is yards per carry aren't great, and he has no burst. But, I mean, this guy can still tote the rock, and he can be a power back, and he can get you the tough yardage. I think he just becomes more of a short area guy. That is, in my opinion, that is Todd Gurley. He has just become a short yardage situation type of back. And if you don't think that you can find a use for that in this league, I don't know what to tell you. Let's see what we got here. Raiders are always a little short with a good team. I am surprised that Richard Sherman still hasn't signed yet. Yeah, Paul, I think he's waiting. He'll probably sign with the Jets and reunite with Robert Saleh, but we'll see. I think Lynn should have got another year. Agreed. Who has more upside, Jacob Harris or Bobby Brown? That's tough. I'm going to say Bobby Brown because he's 20 years old. Jacob Harris's biggest thing, or he's 21. Jacob Harris's biggest thing is that he played soccer, but he's still an older player. I think he's 23, 24 years old. So I would say Bobby Brown. Jake, who do you think will win the AFC West this year? I'm going to say the Chiefs. LA versus LA Super Bowl? Yes, I do believe so. Really, my problem with Lynn is he blew too many games, but he'll get another chance at head coaching at some point. Rochelle is an elite RAS 9.65 player, but his technique is poor. He's at least 1 year away with Darius Williams up for free agency after the season. It looks like he'll be starting with Ramsey in 2022 if ready. Yeah, I mean, Renee, I think you kind of hit it on the head there. He's somebody that they wanted, for the long haul. And I think a lot of these guys, they love the length. And, size doesn't really matter nowadays. Like, you'll draft a 5'8", 149-pound wide receiver, but for whatever reason at cornerback, if you don't have length, teams are now really interested in getting guys that are gangly and have really long arms at corner, and that was one of those things. The Rams went out and got Rochelle. He fits that. You agree on the all LA Super Bowl, Paul? Yeah, I think the Chargers will be in the Super Bowl. You think Fields starts over Dalton week 1? I mean, we've already seen what Aaron Donald does to Andy Dalton. We've already seen the Rams play against Andy Dalton. They'd be stupid to play Andy. And here's another thing. Can we stop making every rookie sit? Not every rookie needs to sit. Patrick Mahomes sat because Alex Smith was there. He didn't need to sit. And Justin Fields is NFL ready. I don't know why everyone's trying to, not everybody, but, people are trying to make him out to be like this guy that's like, oh, he's going to need some time. No, he's not going to need any time. Stop sitting these rookies. The best way to learn things is to actually go and do them hands-on. You fail forward. You move, you got to let these, rookies get dirty. You got to let them scrape up and get bruises and, get scar. I mean, that. That's the thing that just irks me. These guys are so babied, I mean, if you really think about it. So this is how it goes. This is the young quarterback ecosystem in the NFL. We get Drew Lock. Drew Lock's going to sit because we have, oh my God, Joe Flacco. And then Joe Flacco's going to play bad because duh. And then Drew Lock's going to come in at the end of the season in his first year. And he's going to look, He's going to show promise, but overall he's going to look, And then his second year, he's going to get hurt week 2 against the Steelers. He's going to hurt his shoulder. And then he's going to come back, despite all the COVID nonsense and all that. He's going to come back and not look like the same quarterback. He's also not going to have his number 1 receiver in Cortland Sutton. And so now year 3, you have people that are like, well, Drew Lock's in year 3. There's no excuses now. I could argue if they just started him the full year in year 1, he could have learned hands-on and might be better than he is today. But this is the young quarterback ecosystem. Oh, you're not a star in year 3? Psh, get rid of you. And look, I'm not going to fault the Broncos if they go out and get Aaron Rodgers. That's different. You're talking about who I believe is the greatest quarterback of all time. I get that. That's fine. But this idea where people were actually mad because they the Broncos didn't go out and get, a quarterback. I'm like, instead they go out and they get Patrick Surtain, who is going to be awesome for Vic Fangio's defense. That's the move you make. You don't get another quarterback. You build on Drew Lock. So that's my thoughts on that. And the reason I brought that up is because I just feel like there are people saying Justin Fields can't compete. Justin Fields can't do this. Justin Fields can't do that. He needs to sit. Well, what better way to completely take your team, who might be a contender in the Chicago Bears, out of the race if you're going to start Andy Dalton over Justin Fields? Are you going to go with the guy isn't capable of winning? Or are you going to go with the guy that you've seen go up against Trevor Lawrence, beat him down, and take his team to the national title game? Sure, they lost, took him to the national title game, and you already know what he can do. Now you just need to see him translate to the NFL with NFL coaching. Come on. Andy Dalton's not a starting quarterback in the NFL. No one could tell me otherwise. I don't know how he started as long as he did in Cincinnati. Actually, I do know, because I don't think Mike Brown, the owner, actually cared about winning. I think it's all about money with him, and Cincinnati couldn't put together a winning franchise. But that's my thoughts, is that I just think you 100%, you have to go, in my opinion, with Justin Fields. But, Renee, I understand what you're saying, but I don't understand. Okay, so I understand what you're saying there, but I just don't get, so we're not going to play rookies their rookie year because they might, do bad? I don't understand that. I mean, the Bears aren't a Super Bowl contender. They're a playoff contender. Play Fields. Andy Dalton isn't a good quarterback. He's not. Nick Foles isn't either. So, I mean, Mitch Trubisky would have been a better option. They let him go. He signed with the Bills. There's a reason, because he'd be a good backup for Josh Allen. So to me, I just think, you have Justin Fields, you have what he can do. At the very least, you have his mobility. If Justin Fields doesn't work out, it's not because of Justin Fields. I can tell you that. Matt Nagy, I don't even know, what has he done? He didn't develop. I mean, you think he developed Trubisky? I mean, I think his play calling is suspect. I think he's a guy that just was like, oh, he came from the Andy Reid coaching tree. Let's grab him and run. Him and Ryan Pace. I mean, I don't know how Ryan Pace is still the GM there, but anyway, yeah, I'm not letting Fields go personally. What's up, Marcelino? How we doing? Thanks, Rams House. Appreciate you. If the Rams signed a running back, I'd love to see it be Adrian Peterson, because I think the Rams are going to win the Super Bowl, and I want Adrian Peterson to win a ring. Well, okay, so the Dwayne Haskins situation is different, though, because one, if you're comparing him, not saying you are, but if you're comparing Justin Fields to Dwayne Haskins, you're falling for the idea of scouting the helmet, not the player. They're completely different players. One has no mobility to speak of, and the other is very mobile. He's an elite athlete, first off. But second, Haskins, I'm not going to lie to you, rookie quarterbacks are delicate. Not all of them, but some of them are. Haskins, to me, might have been able to succeed better if they didn't fire the head coach. And, I mean, here's the thing. They added O'Connell to be the OC. So he took over as the primary play caller after they fired Gruden. When they fired Jay Gruden, Haskins took over, and Haskins was working hands-on with now the Rams OC, Kevin O'Connell. Well, the problem is that they developed a really nice rapport, and after the season, Ron Rivera came in, and he's like, no, I need to have my guy. I need to have Norv Turner's kid, Scott Turner. And he let Kevin O'Connell go. He wouldn't retain him. Well, that doomed, in my opinion, a young quarterback in Dwayne Haskins, who's finding his stride at the end of the year with Kevin O'Connell. It doomed him from the start. So he goes into year 2. He barely played because, again, we go into we have to sit our quarterback. So he barely plays, right? I mean, the whole Alex Smith thing, I'm not going to, whatever. So he barely plays. Then he plays to start, and he's with a completely new offense, a completely new regime. He was never the guy. He was a placeholder. They were using him to get beat up so they could find their guy. Dwayne Haskins was led astray. And don't get me wrong, his late night antics at the club, not the best move. I don't condone that if I'm a coach, but nothing. The way that Washington handled that situation was piss poor. I'm going to be real with you. It was piss poor. They did not develop him. They blamed him. It was horrible. And now the thing that's very interesting is Haskins went to an organization in Pittsburgh that doesn't fire coaches. So that's the first great thing. So if he develops a rapport with their new coach, Matt Canada, at OC, Matt Canada is not getting fired. They don't fire coaches. So Matt Canada would still be there. Oh, and by the way, they just brought back Josh Dobbs, who they had and they let go, and they brought him back. So they keep guys in the building. Mason Rudolph's been there. So they're going to give Haskins an opportunity to actually win a job, whether it be a backup or a third string job. So my argument is that Haskins was led astray by Washington. Once again, showing you the quarterback ecosystem in the NFL is dead. And so when he went to the Pittsburgh Steelers, that was a great fit. He gets to learn behind Ben Roethlisberger. He gets to be in that receiver, see those receivers, have an opportunity to throw to those guys in practice, and learn. Because I think he could have started, but I also think he was ruined. And I think he can be fixed. Similar story. Jared Goff, his rookie year. You only know Jared Goff as the guy that got Sean McVay, but in 2016, Goff was horrendous. Was it his fault? I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say it was Goff's fault. That offensive line was putrid. And if you look what he did in the first half of the Saints game, that was impressive stuff that I could build upon. That is why they drafted him to be the number 1 overall pick. But after that, no. And if they didn't fire Jeff Fisher and Rob Boras, then Goff would have been just like Haskins. And then it would have been the blame game. And it would have been, oh, why does Goff suck? Goff's terrible. Goff needs to go. Instead, Sean McVay, and we're not talking about 2019, 2020. We're talking about what happened right after that year. Sean McVay worked with him. He goes out, said, you know what? We need weapons. They sign Robert Woods. They draft Cooper Kupp. They draft Gerald Everett. They trade for Sammy Watkins. They get him a left tackle and Andrew Whitworth. It is about a franchise. And the Washington football team did nothing to help Dwayne Haskins. The best guy that helped Dwayne Haskins isn't even on the damn roster anymore, isn't even in the damn coaching staff, and that is Kevin O'Connell of the LA Rams, because he was a guy that was trying to work with him hands-on and help develop Haskins, whereas Ron Rivera's group was just like, nope. Oh, and you went to the strip club? Nope, I'm done with you. Hands off. And they were always hands off. I remember they won the game. Haskins played all right. I don't think he was terrible. And Ron Rivera said he's on the hot seat, or they're actively looking at everybody. Like, how do you do that to a young quarterback? So you're putting unneeded pressure on him. So I hated the way Washington treated him, and I think he's going to get an opportunity with Pittsburgh. And I know some Pittsburgh fans don't like him, but to be honest with you, I don't like most of your quarterbacks. I like Josh Dobbs, the person, but I don't think Josh Dobbs helps you long term. They let go of Devlin Hodges, who actually started 8 games in the NFL. And I'm sorry, but Mason Rudolph, the most fame that Mason Rudolph is ever going to get is when he got hit over the head, which, by the way, I don't condone, but it's when he got hit over the head, that helmet over the head by Myles Garrett. That's the most fame he's going to have. He is not a franchise quarterback. Haskins has the opportunity to be. Haskins was my QB2 in that draft behind Kyler Murray. So I think the Steelers were a good fit for him, and I think they can develop him, and we'll see. I mean, I'm excited. For him, I'm excited for Winston over in New Orleans. I'm excited to see, Miami stuck with Tua. The Philadelphia Eagles, they stuck by Jalen Hurts. I like to see teams stick by their young guy. Another thing I'll say, and this is great, the Giants. Props to them. Okay, you like Daniel Jones? That was your guy? You picked him? Everybody knocked you? Go prove it to us why you picked Daniel Jones. That's what they're doing. And that, by the way, that wasn't Joe Judge. Joe Judge isn't like coming in and be like, I need a new quarterback. I need a new this. I need a new that. Joe Judge is just coming in to coach and be a good football coach and try to make do with what he had. And then the next year after his introductionary season, I can't even talk, then via the draft and free agency, he goes, you know what would help Daniel Jones is if he had a big-bodied wide receiver he could just throw it up to and make a play that has great body control and can contort his body in midair. Oh, let's go get Kenny Golladay. Okay? You know what would be great for our secondary that was already really good is if we went out and got a kind of a multifaceted athlete in the back end. Oh, Adoree Jackson just became available. Let's go scoop him up. You know what would also be great? If we didn't let Leonard Williams go. Okay, let's bring back Leonard Williams. And then the draft. You know what's a great way to get a young quarterback to succeed? You just put weapons all around him and you fill up his offensive line with talent. They went and got Andrew Thomas in the first round last year. Sure, he struggled. They had all sorts of offensive line coach, issues there. He should be better this year. They got Matt Parrott in the third round out of UConn. They drafted Will Hernandez a few drafts ago. I mean, they want to build around Daniel Jones. And to me, I thought it was a head scratcher of a pick at the time, and I don't love it, but I actually am really curious to see Daniel Jones because there were moments in his rookie year where he looked really good. And now with these weapons, I think the Giants have done a nice job. So that's my point. I know I went on a tangent there, but I support the young quarterback ecosystem. My guy who, I don't know if you guys saw the interview, but I did an interview with Kyle Sloter earlier in the offseason. And I mean, I'll tell you right now, I hate the way he's been treated. He just got cut again by the Raiders. I think he's got all the talent. He's got everything you look for, 6'5", 215. Somebody that can, I think he ran a 4.6, great arm. I don't understand it to me. And I do think that too often we get caught up in, well, you're just a Twitter GM or a couch GM or yada, yada. I think these guys, and I'm not saying all of them, because I know these guys, this is their job. They're talent evaluators. I get that. But to act like every talent evaluator knows more than you is just ignorant. Because even though their job is to scout talent, I'm sure you went to the grocery store today, or you went to Office Max or Staples, or you went to Walmart, and today at some point someone did a bad job either bagging your groceries, or they knocked over something on the shelf, which knocked over a bunch of stuff, or they spilled something, because people make mistakes, but it's a different thing to be making a mistake and being bad at your job. And to act like every NFL evaluator is just like a god and like there's no way you could do better, I think is just wrong. So my point is that there are guys like that out there, young quarterbacks that could thrive. And it's not just young quarterbacks, it's other positions as well. And, Elijah McGuire is a perfect example. Louisiana Lafayette running back. He had a really good year with the Jets. Imagine if they kept, sticking with him. Instead, he falls out of favor. There are guys like that it's always like they fall out of favor with people in their circles, and then they don't have jobs anymore. Like they can't stick to a roster. So I think you do have a great deal of great football minds, but for every Sean McVay, you get an Adam Gase. For every Andy Reid, you get a Doug Marrone. So you need to keep that in mind, when you're saying something and then someone chimes in, and I'm not saying this is happening in our comment section now because you guys can see it's not, but I see it often. If you guys are saying something, somebody chimes in and said, okay, Twitter GM, or okay, couch GM or something. It's like, all right, well, I'm just giving my thoughts first off. And second, this coach is literally going to get fired, this year. This GM, this scout or whatever, got fired. So, say what you will, but these guys aren't always perfect. Their hit record isn't 100%. It's not batting 1,000. So that's my thoughts on the rookies, the young quarterbacks, just all of that, because I think that needs to be said. It's something that isn't said enough. People just are like, oh, what do I know? But like, if you're watching film and you know what you're watching and you do evaluations, I think it's important to say, like, your opinion does matter. Okay. Like, if you think, like, Renee is a very well-informed fan. So like, Renee, when you start talking about the Rams, like I definitely am going to listen because I know you know what you're talking about, all of that. I listen to everybody, but I mean, I put like an emphasis on you because I know you know what you're talking about and you're, damn good with it. That's the thing. Is like, if you know what you're talking about, cool. If you don't, fine. But like this idea, like, don't be that guy. This is what I'll ask you guys, my viewers right now. Please don't be that guy and or girl that goes out of their way to comment on somebody's opinion and to say something along the lines of, you're not a GM, or you're not a, you're a couch GM, or you're, or how many games have you won, or how many, like, because it just makes you look like a tool. So I can't. I see that a lot, and I can't. I got a comment the other day on my video, the Tutu Atwell video, and this guy's like, "Oh, how delusional are you? What makes you think that you can grade players? Like, anybody can grade players. It's not just like there's not exclusivity. It's not like just exclusive to me. You guys can make your own grades at home. I don't use this. I use my own scale. Like, I use my own grading scale. Everybody does. Like, I always found it funny. So, just a word of advice there, or whatever. If you see that, just don't be that person, please, because it's just to assume everybody else knows more than you is just preposterous. We're all human. We make mistakes. And by the way, this is another thing. People cut corners too. People fake it to make it as well. So keep that in mind. Sometimes when you're giving people credit, or you think, wow, they do so much work, they're cutting corners or faking it to make it. It happens. So I'm just saying. Thanks, Paul. I'm glad you liked my spiel. I don't know if everyone else did, but it got pretty quiet in the comment section. So either you guys were really engaged or you guys were getting turned off. Yeah, so I think that's going to do it for me. It's really hard to end these streams because I have over 40 viewers and I hate ending them, but that's going to do it for me for now. I'm Jake Ellenbogen. I hope you guys enjoyed and, had fun spending your Tuesday night with me. I will be back online because I'm going to be streaming Resident Evil Village at some point. That comment's great. I'm going to be streaming Resident Evil at some point tonight, probably around 10:30 until like midnight. So be sure to check that out. I'm on Twitch up here, JKBogan15. I'll also be streaming it on here. But that's going to do it for the football talk today. I've talked enough. Talked your ear off. Appreciate you guys. And you guys have a great night. Everyone be safe. And I'll be back tomorrow. Same deal. We're going to do this. And I'll do my gaming streams at night. So you guys take care. I love y'all. Peace.